You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Welcome back, Rebels! We're live from Studio 57 in Detroit. And yes, it is time for the 2-hour debacle known as Detroit Sports Radio Rebels. So, buckle up again and get ready for a crazy, crazy ride. Of course, we got MLB just punching itself in the face. We've got NHL, and as much as we're talking highly of the NHL playoffs, the NBA this weekend said, hold my beer. So, without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here is your host, Johnny the Moon.
Hey, we are back to another edition of DSR2, and this was glorious of Wednesdays here, or at least evening-wise. It's kind of gray and cloudy out there. What we got again, we said, watching with us, we got basically the split screen going on. We got NHL conference finals. We got NBA conference finals going on here. The NBA lottery was last night. Yeah, we won. Great fun.
We haven't almost said that in a long time.
Damn right. On there also as well. But again, now they're calling out pitchers for sticky substance. But the problem is there's no sticky substance.
There was a stinky eye given, though. I
Yes.
think Max Scherzer used his blue eye to make his head explode. It just didn't work. He was trying really, really hard, and he was concentrating. He was trying to do some scanners
want
type
to fight
shit.
each other on there as well.
Oh, goodness. Welcome, everybody, to the show. Of course, it is going to be off the hook. We'll get to the whip around real quick here, but before I get too far into this thing, we have the text line available to you guys. We want to get you in on the chat right the F away. We're not playing around here, so get in on it. Of course, you can find us on social media, Studio 57 Radio across the board, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Spreaker, Stitcher, you name it, we got it. But if you want to get in on the conversation and make sure you don't get missed, the text line is where it's at. 313-307-5340 is the line. We'd love for you to get in on this, man. Remember, it's your show. We want you to make it go and flow, so we'll go wherever you want. But we're going to whip around the headlines here real quick for you and give you some inspiration. Moose, if you weren't inspired by some of the play this weekend, you must not like sports.
That's right. You must hate sports whatsoever on there.
And on a personal note, Detroit killed it this weekend.
Right.
I just have to say.
All went well on here for at least, you know what, on there in the last 24 hours, especially Detroit sports-wise on it. We won the NBA draft lottery, and the Tigers swept the St. Louis Cardinals. All
Yeah,
right.
so we'll take it.
And we didn't get a pitcher called out for sticky substance, which didn't have sticky substance on that.
Yeah,
So.
dude, that was so epic to me just because, you know, it was just ridiculous. I mean, coming out there and, I mean, that many times, and then
And
you
get
get
like, check his hair, check it, and I was like, all right, here, look, rub my head, look, all it is, man, my oily hair because I didn't take a shower yet.
Well, no, he came out and said it super simple. He's like, look, it's not that hot. I couldn't get any sweat like off my neck or my shoulders or my face. He says, I almost plugged a dude with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Right.
All I've got is resin and, you know, rosin in this, and I'm trying to make it sticky. So, yeah, I'm doing something. And this is what Girardi said, that, you know, he was doing something that they watched and he doesn't do. Like, as much as they've watched him and faced him, he's never done this because he's trying to get the sweat from his head.
So the rosin
sticks to his fingers, and he's got a little bit of tackiness. So, like, that's a great defense in the bubble of that argument. But this is where I pop your bubble, because a bubble ain't a bubble.
If the double down broken.
Yeah, if I bust the bubble. So I'm going to bust the bubble. Well, what in the hell have you been using then? Like, you can't hold on to the ball now, so guess what? Somebody was using something he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what is your argument? That's like you getting busted for something and going, well, he did it. Like, well, that doesn't change. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't, absolve you from responsibility. So, like, to me, it's kind of funny. Like, I like Max Scherzer, and I don't care about the whole sticky substance as long as there's not, like, globs of stuff on the thing kind of changing the way the ball moves. I don't really mind so much. If you're so worried about batting average, how about you just stand in there for a little bit?
Yeah.
How many first pitch swings have we seen over the last 2 or 3 years? It seems like that's the thing to do now.
Right.
Like, every first pitch I'm swinging on.
Yes.
And then I'll figure it out from there. And it's
it's notorious on there because Miguel Cabrera in his peak on there was one of those guys on there swing on the first pitch, and it worked out a lot of times for him. But again, you go old school in there. I mean, you talk to anybody on that, you never swing at the first pitch.
Yeah, I mean,
you sit on it. Make them on there. Make them pitch to you with it.
Make them prove to you that they can hit that strike zone with regularity before you just start chucking a bat around. And that's kind of the way I always thought about it. And then, you're going to kind of it even also what you get is now you get to see, there's like that little slot where the ball comes out at, right? There's always a little slot, a little opening where, like a hole where the ball's always going to kind of come out. So if you let a couple pitches come your way, you're going to get a better look. You know what I mean? So, like, to me, it's just hitting 101, right? Like, but nobody hits for bait. Nobody's hitting.
Nobody hitting for contact.
Yeah, they're not trying to get in the gaps. They're not trying to, hit for singles and doubles and just try to move guys over. There's no bunting. There's no sacrifice type plays. There's none of that. Like that whole small ball and moving that doesn't even exist anymore. No. And so, like, that's why the numbers are going down as much as everything else. How come no one had anything to say when ERAs were through the roof? Because you had people roiding out of their brain and going from, 20 home runs to 73 home runs, over the course of just a couple of years.
Instead of being a warning track fly ball, it's 7 rows deep.
Right. Like, where were you then? Oh, that's right. You had record ratings, and your merchandising was through the roof, and stadiums were full, and MLB baseball was what everybody was talking about. Oh, wait, including the Supreme Court. Ooh. Oh, did we forget that?
Yeah.
I mean, so come on, man. Baseball is the most dysfunctional person in your family right now. That's what they are. They are the most dysfunctional member of your family. If you're a sports fan and you like all the sports, they are the most dysfunctional member in your family right now. It's just a train wreck.
Well, it's only going to get worse because there's going to be a strike next year.
Oh, geez.
Guarantee it.
If there is a stoppage of play or a holdout of any kind like that, dude, this could be... Dude, it's kind of like cutting off your nose to spite your face. I don't know if the players really, really want to do that. Like, I think as much as you want to threaten that and you want to get some leverage...
Because your sport's already teetering on...
Your sport is already paying you too much. It's teetering, like you said, on that financial...
Being irrelevant.
Well, right. And if and what it is it's already worked itself into irrelevancy. I think there are more people in this country that watch soccer. I mean, because there's so many people that come over here that are, all the, immigration we have here, all the different cultures we have here. I'm willing to bet.
There's more and more bars showing the English Premier League on Sunday morning than not.
Right. So there's just a lot more soccer, I think, people into, and that's what's happening. Baseball is like literally drifting behind sports like soccer. And it's not mainstream drifted yet, but it's on its way. Yeah. I mean, once these networks realize they're wasting their time, I mean, seriously, if you can't draw, more numbers than, a pro wrestling show on a Friday night, and you can't pull more numbers than that on a Wednesday for a random game in the season, then you're going to have problems.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually these TV, the ESPN has almost killed itself, eaten itself with all these big TV deals it's given away. So what's going to happen when all these other TV outlets start doing the same thing? They start cutting back that budget. They're not going to pay that.
No.
And baseball's on that weird, like you said, they're teetering on that weird spot where the salaries are so high. There's no salary cap. There's no real structure with that. And then,
You think it's
your
ironic that
your validity is like is dwindling.
right? And you think it's ironic? I mean, getting honored that Fox is basically behind the new USFL for spring ball? No,
Right.
they're like, oh,
We can get some
We're
content.
not getting the returns on that we want.
Right.
We thought we get for baseball.
Right.
And again, as we said it last week, baseball is a regional sport.
Yep.
And you only pay attention when your team is in
Right.
contention.
So like I said, if you're watching local and if you want to have a big time matchup and throw a game here and there, I think you have an oversaturation issue too. But I mean, I think why wouldn't you if you can get that kind of TV deal, right? Why wouldn't you if you could draw that kind of revenue? I just think in the end it was a failed kind of thing. Like you just went too far. And then not to have a cap to protect you from what's about to happen is ultimately could be an issue.
Right, because the owners
for the
can't
financial
control
state of the
themselves,
league.
especially in the big market teams. They're just going to say, I got money and you don't, so I'm going to spend it.
Well, in the end, you're gonna have to worry about the financial state of the league, and that's kind of what it's coming down to. There's no marketing. There's like if they're not, it's basically the TV deals and the video games that they're making their money on,
Right.
because they're not getting it in door revenue,
And again,
and they're not merchandising like they should. They could
right.
be.
Well, yeah, because we're seeing it here. I mean, basically, you look on there, especially, for storylines on there, you've got, Tatis and Guerrero Jr. on there, but you got Ohtani in California. Why are we seeing this guy on everything?
Dude,
He's pitching and he's leading the league in home runs.
Who's your boy? Your the pitcher from the Mets?
DeGrom.
Yeah, I mean, why? I mean,
Why are you seeing
dude?
him?
That guy's
He's in the biggest market.
That
in
guy
America.
is a white meat baby face. Look at him. Look at him. He should be in soap operas. He's a handsome man. And he's a beast. Why do you not market the hell out of him? He'd be in like every underwear, shampoo, the used car, whatever damn thing I can put him in.
If you're a longtime Mets fan, you say, I'll never see a pitcher better than Tom Seaver. Now they're looking saying, hold my beer, man. I look at this guy.
Right.
He's better than Tom Terrific.
And my whole thing is part of this is on agents too, because your agents should be really marketing you in another way, and getting you these other gigs where you can get your face out there more. But the league doesn't take advantage of these guys at all when it comes to marketing them or the sport. And it's kind of like, in like college sports, you always like played for the name on the front and not on the back. That's kind of the way baseball is. Like you play for the league, not for yourself. And it's like, well, yeah, but the individual is what you cater to, right? Like I can't relate to a corporation, like a company, but I can relate to, Manuel, whoever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I can relate to an individual.
I mean, I wasn't a Mariners fan, but damn it, I paid to go see Junior play.
Right.
He played great center field, had a cannon on, and he had to. I mean, again, being the bad left-handed, had the most beautiful, picturesque swing. Perfect. It was basically perfect.
Yeah.
And look what he did. I mean, his first 10 years when he was with Seattle. Look what he did. I mean, he was the face of baseball for a decade.
Right.
And they haven't replaced him. I mean, Pujols was all world when he was with St. Louis.
Sure.
You don't hear anything on it. I mean, and again, same thing with Miguel. Miguel speaks English when he wants to speak English. But again, when you watch him out on the field, especially the way he jokes around with other players and jokes with the kids and everything with it, dude, market this guy. Yeah, again, who cares if he doesn't speak English? Again, you've got.
Yeah.
Don't you have Latin ESPN Deportes?
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. No, there's a million and one ways that you can market this guy.
I mean, the only thing that's keeping baseball forward, because you're not getting kids from the inner city anymore. It's basically is white privileged kids who can play travel ball and go in basically to do it. And it's Latin America. And obviously now you're getting the Far East and that. But it's, again, Latin America. Baseball is still got, I mean, besides soccer, it's baseball and soccer in Latin America. That's it. They love baseball. They love soccer. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
And they know is I can get, if I can't make it to Europe and play in the, the Premier Leagues, you know what? Maybe I play baseball, I'll get up there and I'm going to take care of my family and that. I mean, the money's not, I mean, soccer, they make on insane money.
Right.
Oh, yeah, they make money here. Dude, as much as these guys make here, they make twice as much in Europe.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's just they're gonna shoot themselves right in the face because they saw a fly landed on their nose.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't understand. But I thought it was hysterical last night with Scherzer with that blue eye just glaring at him the whole way down. It's like, dude, 3 times freaking really? Really?
Yeah.
I know it's on there, but yeah, really?
Well, that was my whole thing. It's like,
and then Girardi goes nuts all of a sudden, and his old former bench coach under Kevin Long just basically dropping F-bombs. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. You want a piece of me? And there's Girardi storming out. And even the home plate umpire goes, all right, you know what? Enough's enough. You're out of here. You're a jackass. You're a jack-off.
You're a jackass.
So we got that on there.
Oh, and yes, Beer Can Dan, we did see the game last night, and no, I don't know what the cat's watching. Us, apparently. She's very comfy, just hanging out with us, and
she's staring at the screen.
yes,
So she's staring at us.
Yeah, she's weird.
So we got on there also too the breaking news on there. It's not a couple days ago. Supreme Court sided with college players.
One strike against the mafia here, I guess, because it's going to be a big issue. Like they're like, well, once they get the likeness thing figured out from state to state, once everybody kind of just jumps on board and just comes, because what it's going to boil down to is like, there's going to be a bunch of states that are going to implement all that stuff well before we do. And so, and some other states. And so what will happen is states like Michigan and other states will expedite the process and move that up. Because technically, we're not supposed to implement the name and likeness profitability for players until like December of 2022, which is basically 2023. So, and then there's some teams that aren't even until 2025, some schools. And so other schools are going to be in on it right away. There's no way you want to be at a 4-year disadvantage of not being able to let these players make money. Right. Like, well, they're just going to go.
Some schools that are going to be starting in the end of July of this year.
Right. So either one of two things happens with this, right? Either the already sly under the table shit gets even more out of hand, or they just expedite the effing process and make this stuff, happen. And so I think that's what'll happen. And then over the next couple of years, everything will kind of get kicked in. And I think when that happens, then things kind of change. Then the power that the NCAA had prior is starting to wane. Like they don't have, what are you gonna do? Like are you gonna hold it? Or you can't. The Supreme Court looked you in the eyes and said, this model that you're using was in any other form of profit bearing anything, you'd be in prison.
Yes.
Like, this is illegal in any other form.
And you can't say, it was a close decision. It was a 5-4. No, it was 9-0.
Dude, they don't even nothing is unanimous in there.
No.
Even when it comes to, like things like it should be, like race and religion and sexual preference. They don't ever unanimous on anything.
But this one was.
This they did. What do you think that's saying to you, baseball? Please bring it back here. We'd love to have you lock the F down. Like, so it's just that's not a good place to be.
No,
it's really not. So yeah, the NCAA needs to rethink their game plan here and how they treat their quote unquote student athletes, which we all know is bullshit. When you are required to put in roughly 50 hours a week for your practice and your things and all that stuff, that's a full-time job. Like, I don't want to work 50 hours a week.
Right.
Like, I want to go home after 40 and be happy with that.
But yeah, they're working 50 hours a week doing this sport on top of their
they're trying to go to school and whatever.
Basically, you're going to classes and and your studies and everything else.
It's such a joke. And that's why the classes, that's why there's no studies.
No.
You know what I mean? That's why they take classes like,
underwater basket weaving.
Yeah, shoe shining and butt shaving and just dumb stuff, So I don't know. I don't quite get it. So it's just but like I said, I think it'll kind of change that landscape and take some of the power away from the NCAA that they have now. And then, everything's going to get it's gonna start changing because we got the playoffs gonna expand like
Right.
a mofo.
Going up to 12 games next.
Oh, where did we hear all that before? Why does that sound familiar? Because we've been talking about it since they started. Before, when it was just a rumor about the playoffs, and they did 4 teams, and we go, oh, well, okay, they're doing 4 teams. We could be doing the same topic everybody else is and talking about the playoffs. Or we could say, how long will it take to get to 8, 10, or 12 games?
Yeah, they bypassed 8 and 10, went right to 12.
Yeah.
So that means is the top 4 teams get a bye, and then they go from there.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So, yeah, NCAA, your college sports landscape is going to change.
Yes.
If you take your grandpa and you put him in a cryogenic state, and you put him to sleep, and you do that in like the early 2000s, and then you bring him back in 5 years from now, he is not going to know what that is. It's just going to be completely different. Well, when was it that the NCAA, was it like 06 or something like that? When was it when they the name and likeness thing came up with the video game? Remember, it was Denard Robinson, right?
It was 14 it was the last year
14.
for NCAA football.
Yep, and that was when...
And that was all because of on their likeness that Ed O'Banion and his gimpy knees got mad because he didn't make it in the NBA, sued.
Well, and then the NCAA football, too, they got heat.
That was all part of that lawsuit
Yeah.
because they says, you know what,
Yeah,
you're using my likeness under, I need to be compensated for that. And
I mean, they had
EA
Denard...
Sports said,
We're not going
forget
with
it. We're shutting it down.
Yeah.
We're not paying you.
Well, what it boiled down to is the NCAA would have had to pay those players.
Right.
And
because they were getting the money from EA Sports.
Yeah,
and
right.
And
they said, no, we rather just shut it down than pay out.
right.
And that's what that came down to. So with that being said, yeah, I'd be mad if I was Denard Robinson because like that 14 games got him and his number with the dreads hanging out the back and his shoelaces dangling, and I think he's on the cover, ain't he?
He's on the cover.
Yeah, and so like don't give me that crap. And so, but yeah, the NCAA said nah, we don't want to get into paying these guys. We don't even want to explore coming up with a format or anything like that. We're just gonna shut it down.
Right.
And so
Which
that's
was
what they
because
did.
again, I love playing NCAA football on there because you play in like franchise dynasty mode,
Sure.
and you would just basically go, you're like, oh, I'm gonna play that, and then you play after a while. You go, okay, I'm gonna pick like Middle Tennessee State, and I'm gonna make them into a national powerhouse
Right.
and that. And it was a lot of fun. And the same thing with the March Madness. Oh, I could play this and
Yep.
on it.
Well, that's all going to change. That game's not coming back anytime soon, so don't get all excited. They're going to have to come up with the whole concept of how everybody's getting paid and how all that's going to work out before they'll ever get anywhere near making that game again. Because, until and then you're going to be dealing. It's tough too because it's one thing to deal with 32 teams, but if you're trying to put an NCAA game, how many teams are you talking about?
128 in Division I
Right.
football.
So
300 and 12 or something like that in Division I basketball.
yeah, that's just a lot. It's just overwhelming and daunting. So even if they decide and they come up with a way and they implement it, it's going to take a long time. It's not something that's just going to happen. So NCAA, don't get all excited about the games. They're not going to be back anytime real soon. But you never know. I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah.
If they can figure all this stuff out, you might see that game for 2030 or something or
like
2028.
that. I mean, if you get the March Madness and they bring it back, I mean, again, if you're going like the Drexel for college and that, you're Division I and that, dude, you are not getting paid the same as if you're going to Michigan.
No.
Dude, it's not going to happen. You'll
No.
get some. You get, oh gee, I got my residual check. Oh wow, I could buy hot ready.
Yeah. And it'll be neither hot nor ready.
Yes. But if I play for Alabama football and I'm the quarterback, I got a new car.
Well, they do it now. I mean,
Well, they do it now.
My daddy got a new house. I mean,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
mama
gee.
got a job.
Yeah, I mean, how many of these cats are going to be suddenly working for the local Boosters car dealership and just go there and he'll get somebody signing jerseys or whatever, and they'll be paying him, and all of a sudden, wow, I got a new car.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about.
You don't have to put it under your grandma's, aunt's, cousin's, niece's, girlfriend's name. You can put it under yours.
Well, I think the best one is the autograph signing and memorabilia thing because you can kind of set your own market price. People are going to pay what they're going to pay.
Yeah.
And nobody has to be involved in that.
No.
And
Just
so
declare it on your taxes because you don't want to go to prison.
Right. And then you don't want to be Wesley Snipes and you'll be good to go. But, I mean, it's when you get into these big ordeals. That's why I said the NCAA games will be a while before they can kind of implement that because as hard as it is to do all of that for 32 teams, imagine doing it for 4 times as many. It's just insane logistics, so to speak.
But yeah, we got basically Islanders, Tampa Bay going on right now. That's 0-0. And we got just about Atlanta and Milwaukee, the 2 on there. So, and as we said at the beginning of the show, yeah, the Detroit Pistons won the damn lottery.
I feel like we I don't know. That's probably the biggest. Well, it hasn't happened since 1970. So you're talking about 51 years ago.
We have never won the as they say, the lottery ever.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we got lucky a couple times with the lottery when they did the lottery because when we got Grant Hill, we got lucky.
Right. Well, no, but I mean, the last time we had the number 1 overall pick, I was
1970 with Bob Lanier.
My mom was 10.
I was 5.
I mean, that was a minute ago.
This is only the 3rd time the Pistons have ever had the number 1 pick overall in their existence.
That's insane.
67, they got Jimmy Walker. 19 and then 19,
Dynamite.
No, not Dynamite.
Oh, sorry.
And then 1997, we got Big Bob Lanier, which again worked out for the Pistons. I mean, for a decade, he was the face of the franchise.
Sure, yeah.
He was a bad man.
He's a bad man.
He was a bad, as they say, as they quote from Airplane. Hey, tell your old man to chase Bob Lanier and Bill Walt up and down the court for 48 minutes. I'm busting my ass. I mean, and his size 22 shoe. Big Bob Lanier, man. He was a bad man.
Yeah.
But again, I love the fact that, you know what? And you can say as honestly as this was the best tank job in the history of the NBA. They tanked, but it was organically. You let the young kids play. Yeah, we lose, but these kids are getting valuable minutes, and we've seen progression out of the younger players.
Yep.
2 of the players we got, Sadiq Bey got the number, was on the first team, all rookie.
Yep.
And
what's his name was on the second
Isaiah
team?
Stewart was second team.
Yep.
And we seen what after Killian Hayes came back after the injury, looked a different player.
Yep.
Dude, this could make this accelerate this run here now.
It could, if as long as we don't end up. See, this is the kind of thing you talked about how we got lucky with Grant Hill, but there was like some inherent bad luck as well because we talk about the best ability is always availability, and unfortunately, Grant Hill became unavailable quite a bit because of injury, and so barring any of that kind of stuff, yes, you have an accelerated kind of rate here, unless everybody's wrong about Cunningham, but I just don't think that's the case. So yeah, if they make that pick and he stays healthy with these young guys, like, dude, all these young guys are on contracts that are totally comfortable.
Totally cheap. They got so much money now. It's off the books because of the moves they made.
Right.
I mean, Blake Griffin's off the books now.
Well, what's so cool about all this stuff, too, is even if some of these players don't pan out to be great, as long as they're serviceable, they're great tradable contracts.
All right.
So, like, if you've got a contract that's really nice and tradable, that's an asset to you if you want to bring in make a trade for a big free agent player, as well as having some draft capital. So, like, if you got those couple, and they have that kind of going on for them right now. So not only could they get the number 1 pick, not only could they, potentially have room to sign people, but they could even make a trade because they have palatable contracts, whether it be now or within the next couple of years. So, this is the most functional this organization has been since the breakup of the Davidson hires at the end.
Right. Yeah, this is the best this he's been before the old man passed away.
Right, and essentially everybody kind of dwindled off one at a time.
Right. But you got all these guys on we got the 3 kids we got last year. We got them for another 3, possibly 4 years under his cheap, and we're gonna get Cade Cunningham cheap for 4 years.
Right.
Dude, I mean, and you got cap space now, so you can basically hire a veteran with it and bring it in on it. So I like the fact, and people are like, well, we got Killian Hayes he's our point guard, and we drafted him last year. Where we get, well, what are we gonna do with Cunningham? K can play the 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
Dude, he can do it. I mean, if you play small ball, he can even play a 4.
Right. Well, and this is the great thing about that is now you've got matchups, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of what. And if you haven't noticed that in these playoffs, it's really just been about matchups. And if you can find the right mismatch and take an advantage of it, that's going to be the difference between you and the next team up when it comes to playoffs. So if you're kind of learning that now, I see that as a total asset, right?
Yeah.
If that's kind of the way it's kind of like one of those things like if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So if you kind of already have that mentality going, once the talent and the everything kind of all starts falling into place, you'll already have that there. And then that's where you'll see that speed up of the process that we're talking about, where it just seems like they were able to really kind of make this turnaround quick, potentially. And actually, if they do it right, it's really the polar opposite of what Philly did. Because if you're in Philly right now, you're MFing the system, right? Or
Right.
the
process.
The process right now. I mean, you're losing your mind over the process. You've been in the process for 6 damn seasons, and you crap the bed.
Yeah.
And you're not getting anywhere. So that's going to be the thing about this. As much as we talk about all that, this and that and the other thing, if in 6 years we're talking the same way about the Pistons as we are of the Sixers, or even less so as far as success, then no, this didn't work. This plan isn't working. So yes, I do. Are you optimistic? Have a bright future, like what we see? Yes, and yes. But and out of all of the sports teams in the state of Michigan, this is what we got.
Yeah.
This is the chance to be the best, the quickest.
Yes.
And this is our best product, probably the fastest. As bad as they were this year, next year they could win 45 games.
Right. If they win 45 games next year, then we're jumping through hoops.
I mean, because what they win this time, 5? I mean, more than that, but
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't win
They
shit.
were, but you know what? I like the fact is and again, they tanked not because tanking inorganic, but it was basically they're losing games naturally, but you're seeing these kids
Right.
make progression,
Yep.
and we're seeing them actually starting to play together with it. So I think this is the pioneer. Also, another winner of the lottery draft was the Warriors. Why? Because Minnesota Timberwolves crapped the bed because they made a trade, and it was conditional. And guess what? They didn't get a top 6 pick, so they lose their draft pick. They don't even have a draft pick this year in the draft. Golden State has 2 lottery picks,
Yes.
7 and 14.
I know. Yep, Detroit fans, it could always be worse. So we're in a great place right now.
But we knew that was going to happen. Why? Because it's Minnesota.
It is. I mean, the only other team that could have happened to would be like Sacramento.
Yes. And also, too, the winner of the night was CBS says Swin Cash's deadpan. You know, they're off there to pick the pick. She goes, cool, we'll probably get a top 5 pick and the number 10 pick overall, Pelicans. She just said, like, really?
Really?
This is bullshit.
How do we get 10?
But I love the fact Ben Wall's on there. He was looking at the camera like, I'm thinking he probably talked to Adam Silver before.
Yeah, he's like spiking the camera with his ice cold look in his eyes, like, dude,
we are getting the number 1 pick,
yeah,
aren't we?
Yeah, you're gonna give me the
I
number
don't
1
need to pay a visit to your house,
Yes.
do I?
I'll reach through this webcam and
kill you.
and grab you up and pull you through here.
I mean, you know, his hair's nice and perfectly cut and everything, but again, you see the gray in there, dude. I want to see Ben the fro with all gray like that.
Oh,
I think
yeah?
it'd be just epic.
You know, it would be. He might have a mad scientist look. Is the only thing.
Einstein. I know.
Yes.
I mean, even the goatee was all salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Now. I'm thinking, damn, when the hell did he get old? I'm thinking, well, he's not. He's only a couple. He's probably.
They won a championship like what 17 years ago,
and he was already. So I'm thinking, well, he's not that. He's only about 10 years younger than me.
Uh-uh.
Damn it, I was going great too. I grew a beard back in 10 years ago, and it was all white too already.
Mine
Alright.
is. I got nothing to say.
Yeah, but you got like at least like a salt. And
I
pepper
got
on
a salt
there.
and pepper going a little
Man,
bit for now.
mine didn't even give salt and pepper. Went from like black to
So,
gray
yeah.
to white.
My grandpa had, and I wish I had his full head of hair. He had a full head of the whitest hair you ever saw on a human being, and it grew back like every 2 weeks. It was stupid, but it was so white. I'm like, oh my goodness, and I'd be fine with that. Like, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. We were at this wedding over the weekend, and the groom's father's there, and he had to be in his, early 80s. I mean, just looked perfectly white coiffed hair.
Yeah.
He's from Puerto Rico, and the white beard, and he's in his suit, and he's looking down, looking, damn, he looks like he is the most interesting man alive. There he is. He's live. He's right here, man.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, man, and I said, I'd kill for that hair.
Yes. Yes. Oh man. Too funny. So Milwaukee's at home. A little watch it with us, guys. We got some double windows going here. The split screen action on our projector in studio. We are rocking, of course, Milwaukee and Atlanta. It's a 1-point game. Milwaukee's got the ball on a point lead, and the Lightning and the Islanders are 0-0 in a 3-2 series that the Islanders, they looked bad.
Oh, 2 nights ago, they looked terrible.
Oh, man. So, like, they need to get it together, or the Lightning, this is an elimination scenario. So
right. They need to wait. They need to get off to a fast start on this one because, if the Lightning get up on top of them, this is going to end here.
It's going to be an issue. Lopez with the flush over there in the Milwaukee game. And I'm telling you, watching this series is going to be entertaining. I think people are underestimating how entertaining this series could be.
I mean, if it's half as entertaining as last night's game with Phoenix and the Clippers, then I'll be happy.
And right now, and we're kind of, it's ADD radio, guys, as we go kind of back and forth, and we're doing a little watch it with us stuff. The Suns look like the best team in the league right now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of weird to say, and Chris Paul ain't even back yet.
No.
And he's supposed to be back for the next game, I do believe.
Yes, they said they're only back for Game 3.
And
then I don't know if Kawhi's going to even make it back this series.
Well, and that's going to be the other issue, right? I mean, with no Kawhi and the Paul George debacle, like, dude, what's going on here, dude? Number 1 overall pick, doesn't want to shoot, and can't even fucking make the dunk.
Yeah.
Dishes the rock. He's in his head so bad. Then you've got
Paul George.
Make
a free throw.
I mean, he had 4 chances to make 1 free throw and basically couldn't do it, or 2 free throws. He just couldn't do it. And it's like, if you can't shoot 50% from the free throw line, that's a problem. So it's just so weird. So it kind of. This might play into a little bit about what LeBron whined about and all that stuff. Is the young guys are shining right now because they're the young guys,
right?
And they played 72 games in a short amount of time with like basically a 2-week break. I mean, I know it was like 2 months, but like a 2-week break between the bubble and now and the regular season. And so the older guys, they can't do it. They can't stay healthy. Their body's breaking down, and these young cats are doing it. And so, you're getting to see all this young talent rise right now and shine. And why? Because the young talent.
Right. They still they're young enough. They can bounce back from on there with it. They're not, their body's not portraying them yet on there.
Right. Not to that level.
And I do believe, again, we've been saying this. We're seeing is the changing of the guard.
Yeah, I believe so too, and but I'm kind of curious of the gap, right? It feels like it was just like so obvious. You just woke up the next day and all of a sudden you have all these guys, and I just feel like the reason you didn't notice them before is because you're watching the regulars and everybody's talking about LeBron or Kyrie or Harden or whatever, Durant, whatever the case may be, and they're kind of sleeping on some of these other guys. But I don't think that these guys aren't playing well like that. I just think that they continue to play well because they have the conditioning to do all that, and these older guys don't. And so then when the older guys are out of the way, all of a sudden you notice these cats.
Right.
And it's like, well, if your older guys could, their body hadn't, as it wasn't so beat down, then we wouldn't be talking about these guys at all. So yeah, there's always going to be a changing of the guard, but I just like. So we talked about how Curry kind of in that style of play has changed the way the league is kind of going and stuff right now, and so that's kind of what you're seeing is that generational change that goes in the style change that goes along with those guys play, right? So it seems that much more dramatic, right? Because you've got this new generation of young talent that are playing in a totally different way, all coming on at the same time. And to me, that's exciting. Now, the old fuddy-duddies that are still pissed off about the three-point line, I don't know what to tell you, because it's only going to. I mean, this is the game. You're getting 130-point games and 120-point games on average these days. And so I heard him say, in an analysis of one of these games saying how the offense for both teams is off, but they scored 105 and 106 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah,
but that tells you how that
back with the Golden Work Pistons. I mean, you're lucky you got 80.
Right. Remember at one point with the Going to Work Pistons, it was like the first team to 71.
Yes.
It
was you admire the great defense, but was it entertaining to watch? Not really.
Right. So, to me, it's all about like
we were happy because we won.
Right.
But I was like, oh, God, this is painful to watch.
Some of it was. Some of that stuff was sloppy and ugly, and sometimes you like the hustle and the crazy stuff that happens with that. But you're right. At times, it can be kind of hard to watch. At least as a casual fan, when you're just kind of or if you're just kind of watching at the bar or a little here and there while you're. It's much easier to catch your eye and stop and watch a game now at the pace and the way it's played.
Right.
It doesn't look the same, but I mean, just remember we had so many years of NBA basketball. It was point guard dribbles the ball up, gets passed around once, maybe twice before it's fed down low to a big man who posts up forever and shoots.
Or they pass it, dribble, ISO ball, wait till the last call, and then try to drive the lane or take the outside shot.
Right.
Now it's run and gun.
I would say basically those are the two big plays, and then if you were flashy, you did the give and go.
Right.
Which is basically a combination of the two.
This is basically Showtime on steroids.
Right. And that's the way they're playing. And the range that these guys have with the shot.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's like not even close, guys. And it's just a.
But you and again on it too. It's like Atlanta was terrible on there, and then last year said, all right, we started seeing initiative came on there.
Right.
Phoenix was terrible.
Right.
Then they got in the bubble. Like, damn man, Phoenix is making a run. You saw it last year. Even though they didn't make the playoffs, they were a team like, oh crap, if they make the playoffs, I don't want to play them. And they only got better because they had a Chris Paul, and he was the perfect distributor of the ball on there. And again, he kind of, we'll see on there if he comes back, but he kind of killed some of the demons of him flaming out in the playoffs because he's played pretty decent ball in the playoffs. Still got banged up a little bit.
Yeah, well, and the key to that is if he wants to continue that or completely erase that, he's got to be able to stay and play.
Right.
And we talked about it with that injury. It's almost like he listened to the damn show because he had that injury, was gone, and then when he came back, he was on fire.
Right.
And it was like he was like, "Hey guys, no, I'm not done yet," and that's the key. So, but. Once again, I don't feel bad for cats that put themselves in those situations. So he put himself in that situation where he can get caught up in the COVID protocol. We got to assume he had it.
Yeah.
And so, this is the price you pay for making those bad decisions. So I don't feel sorry for him in that aspect. And if he didn't get a chance to play again because of it or whatever the case may be, then that would have been on him. And that would have been part of that legacy.
Right.
That would have been a part of the same problem. So, but yeah, if he comes back to the next game and they keep playing the way they're playing and only elevate that because of his play, then I just think it becomes harder and harder to beat the Suns.
Yeah.
They seem to be the favorite.
Because Ayton now looks on there. He looks like okay. We're worried about him. Was he going to be a bust?
Right.
And now you say okay. Now he's starting to con. But Devin Booker's a beast.
Oh, without a doubt.
Him and Trey Young, I can watch those guys play
All
damn
day long.
Same thing with Donovan Mitchell, man. I want to watch him play all damn day long.
Right, and well, and you know that's going to be my argument for. And no one wants to hear this, but in Atlanta, what you call it, championship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to see Atlanta in Phoenix for the NBA championship. And granted, the NBA would probably like to see a bigger market, but I mean, you don't have a lot of big markets in here now, so it is what it is. And dude,
the only the big market you got is the Clippers left.
Right, and
do we really want to see the Clippers? I mean, no.
And the chances of them, honestly, in the position that they're at right now with the Kawhi Leonard situation,
and down 0-2,
I just don't. But they've been down 0-2 twice already this playoff season.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if these playoffs you've already been down, that's their MO. So, I do want to kind of reserve my real kind of final decision until they get to
Phoenix wins tomorrow. Then
it's obviously over. But I mean, even if they just get out by the skin of their teeth, I'm concerned because, you know, you how long can you last? Without Kawhi.
Keep getting into a hole and trying to dig yourself out of it.
That happened with the bubble last year with who? Who was that? Miami.
Yeah.
And it ultimately.
Yeah, they couldn't do it at the end.
They couldn't get it done. So, but you know, I want to see. I do. I want to see Atlanta and Phoenix, and I know that's a lame championship. You know, for a lot of people, but for me, it would be fun, and you get to see, like you said, you get to see this young talent that wants, and you know, it's not a lame championship, like I said to me, because you get to see the young cats, and I don't care what city you're in. A championship, everybody wants to win it. They want their home team to win it, and if your home team wins it, dude, just hit us up at JWBelts.com.
Atlanta's never won an NBA championship. They haven't won since the team left St. Louis.
Right. Well, and it's the same thing.
Phoenix never won a championship on there.
Sure.
Milwaukee hasn't won since like 1971.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And so that's I don't know, whatever. But so yeah, your team wins. You hit us up, JWBelts.com. We'll make you a championship with your team's logos on it, and hook it all up, man. Like whatever level, we got different levels for different prices. We can hook it up.
And if you want your belt to be in the team colors, we can do that.
Oh, dude, we can hook it up, sweet. And like I said. Fully custom, whatever you want, your team championship. So JWBelts.com is where you're going to get that done, and or you can check us out on Facebook. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of markets that are just itching to win one, and you know, no one gets excited over that from a national standpoint, but I want to see it. And let's be honest about LA. The Clippers aren't LA's team.
No.
You know, it would be if they won a championship, it would just be a bunch of faux fans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jim Rome would come out and talk about how great they are and how wonderful they did when he basically has been eating LeBron's butthole for the last, 3 years.
The only one I'm going to say,
he couldn't care less about the Clippers up until they win.
The Clippers on there that says, oh, they're chappy. Is probably the old man Billy Crystal because he was there when they sucked.
Yeah, he's the only one that can say it.
Because he was there with Elton Baylor and his bad toupee was making draft picks, and Danny Ainge, or Danny Manning, and the Miracles on there with Larry Brown when they actually had a winning team there for a while. But yeah,
I heard the fan base is still blaming Chris Kaman for the loss last year. Oh wait, did I say that out loud? Anyway, so just yeah. So honestly, I just think people, I don't want to see the Clips, and as much as Giannis and the Bucks and all that would be cool. I like the play. I like what I'm seeing out of.
I like the guard play.
Yeah, I do. I love it. I love the style of play.
Trey Young. I like Donovan Mitchell playing the two, and again, I always like guard play.
Yep.
Of course, here growing up here with the Pistons and the Bad Boys, it was guard play.
Always, yeah. Isaiah's got to be one of the.
Joe.
Yeah,
Zeke was the man.
That was, but at the time, that was one of the baddest. It was definitely the most underrated backcourt. It just felt like nobody ever talked about them like that until they started winning.
Zeke is the best point guard,
but those two
other
together,
than Magic Johnson, I've never seen.
Yep, and those two, then with Joe D being able to had that range, I mean, with his shot, he developed that range over time. Yeah, they were just a really great backcourt. Tampa Bay, as we do a little watch it with us, Tampa went up. 1-0 over the Islanders, and yikes, not good 30 seconds left in the first period here. So unless the Islanders come up with something crazy.
But the other series, I mean, we'll get into that after the break about with Montreal and Vegas. I mean,
Oh, my goodness.
Montreal's been on fire.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. And Vegas better be ready to get it together here. Or they're going to have problems. But we touched a little bit on it. I'm not entirely surprised by the Habs. It's just kind of the way they turned the switch on.
Right.
That's been the noticeable. That was kind of the what? First a minute. Wait a minute. You're down. What are they down? 0-3.
Yeah, the Toronto.
Yep. And then they come back
and win the next 4.
Yes. And then
they haven't looked back since.
No.
Carey Price is playing outstanding with it.
It's just crazy.
And again, we said that I pretty much said is I love the Islanders win. I just thought Tampa Bay is just the best. It's got too much talent.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
it's showing there on that. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. So, but we got 4 minutes to go in a tight Atlanta-Milwaukee game. Atlanta by a point right now, and this is what I was talking about with the last game, right? Because last night's game, this could be one of those games like that. They just seem to be riding each other neck and neck, and you know what? It's not offensive. Look at this. There's only 4 minutes to go.
Yeah,
and they're
They're a little got some of the gyps in it.
Yeah.
Clanging in some long ball. They got it basically, and it's like when Trey seems to get into the.
There you go. Get something in the paint. Points in the paint. Points in the paint.
That's it.
That's what I always was taught, right? Like when your outside shot isn't working.
And Lou Williams saying, you know what? And they told him, Magic City said, "You win, you get wings for life."
Yeah. So like that's.
And we'll have one of our strippers deliver them to you.
So that's what always kind of bothers me about play when you see these guys go cold like this, that they don't do like everything you were ever taught as a shooter before, and that is work inside out, right?
Yes.
Get inside the paint, score some easy shots, get some buddies. Although Ben Simmons, it didn't help.
Didn't matter.
It didn't matter, but get a layup, get a nice floater in the lane, nice short shot, whatever, and then kind of work your way back out. Get a little confidence, get a little rhythm. You want to see the ball go in the hoop, kind of all that kind of stuff. But these cats, all they do is get further away and shoot up more bricks.
Yeah.
And it's like, what in the hell?
Get closer to the basket.
Yeah.
To make an easier shot.
Yeah. Once you make a couple of those, then step back. Remember when you were a kid and you played around the world?
Yes.
Play around the world, motherfucker. Come in, hit one from the baseline close, then hit one from the top of the key, then hit a free throw, then hit from the other corner.
Go in with a little finger roll.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Like, work your way out. It's like, don't give me none of that stuff.
I had to do the finger roll because I couldn't get vertical.
Yeah.
I could do it around there. I could get in there and finger roll in there, but go in there, no, I couldn't get even my knees with that.
I could get up to the dunk level, but I would stuff myself on the rim, right? Because I couldn't get a good grip on that ball enough to get it over. Like if I got a little kiddie ball, I could get it over, like a little basketball.
Oh yeah,
but not a regular basketball.
Yeah, the kiddie ball on there, I could get, I could palm it on there because I got big bear paw hands, but short stubby fingers.
All right, so a little ball I could get up there and stuff it down, but not a full size. And now I couldn't. I'd be lucky to grab the net.
Yes.
I'm not. My vertical's done. My knees are garbage. I got a sick outside shot though. I could still shoot the rock, dude.
I can still rebound like a demon because I can still box you out and get that ball, man.
Right.
I got just the bulk.
I was just always super fast and physical, so like I just kind of like bang around like a ping pong ball, and which you can't really do now. And then I had, my shot was nice. I could have, well, I think I've shared my story of coulda, woulda, shoulda, but anyway, and so yeah, that's why I like and once again we talk about relating to players and why people like certain things and why they gravitate to certain sports and why people. Young folks are getting into these games. They see these young people playing a ball, and they're not LeBron James, Adonis type physical.
Dude,
take it to the rack.
Wide open, man.
These are just regular guys shooting shots. And so when you look at Steph Curry and you look at Trae Young and you look at these guys that don't look like they're anything impressive, but they look like you. And so you're like watching it going, I could do that. I could shoot that ball. I can't do a 360 dunk between my legs. I can't switch hands in midair and lay it up on the other side. I can't do any, but I could shoot. I can throw a ball up in the air, and so you can relate to that. And so I think that's why I like the style of play now. I wish it could be a little more physical. I think sometimes it's a little ticky-tack. Or guys, because it's so ticky-tack, guys just don't even bother playing defense. So I'd like it to see it have a little bit more physical touch, but I like the way that these guys have. I mean, you're shooting 12, 15 feet behind the three-point line, and then they're still jacking up 40% from back there. And it's like, you got to that's impressive. But when you do this stuff where you're doinking them, get inside and make the inside shot. 23-20 Milwaukee with 45 seconds to go. You're in first intermission there. For the Lightning and the Islanders, as the Lightning are up 1-0, and a big three from Milwaukee to stretch the lead to 6 with 35 seconds to go. So this is kind of what the threes can get you back in the game. What are you doing? You're like 0 for 4 your last 4 trips down there, and then you're chucking it.
They got the put back and the rebound.
Right. So I just don't understand some of that crazy stuff as we count down the closing seconds of this quarter before we take our break. If you guys haven't had a chance, please go check us out on social media, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. Anything kind of helps us get this thing rolling. Text line is open for you. 313-307-5340. Lock that in. Think about it, because we got a lot of stuff on the other side of the break to get to. We want to get you guys involved in the conversation. So you have a 25-28 halftime score. Is that what I'm looking at? Or first quarter, I mean. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
So great game going on in the NBA. We got the NHL. A little watch it with us. So hang out. What do we got on the other side, Moose?
We got some NHL action going on there as well. We'll get into we got mini camps with NFL wrapped up there. So we got the training camp just around the corner there. And we got the Olympics coming in, so we'll talk about the men's basketball team, and probably even get into the women's team a little bit, because there's a little controversy on the women's team on who made it and who didn't.
Ooh, that sounds exciting.
We are DSR2 Studio 57 Radio.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, Scrappy here to tell you about That Radio Show. Hang with me as I break down the world of entertainment with great guests, celebrity interviews, awesome games with wonderful prizes. Also, we've got the biggest library of underground hip-hop of any station on the net. You mix in a little stand-up comedy and a text line so your voice can be heard, and you got a pretty good little show. But add listener-controlled programming? Yeah, you heard me. Listener-controlled programming, where you, the listener, can decide what makes it on the air, and now you've got the greatest show ever created. So join my show, your show, our show, the people's show, That Radio Show, each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only here on Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Big D, here to tell you about Mark for Life Tattoos. Guys, this place is the cleanest, most laid-back studio in Metro Detroit, and the artists are top-notch. And if you're like me from the D, you need to stop in on Fridays for that D-Day and get your old English D for only $20. Not interested in tattoos? Mark for Life does body piercings. Mark for Life is located at 22533 Van Dyke in Warren, and the guys are there 7 days a week from noon to 9. So give them a call at 757-2222. That's 586-757-2222. Tell them Studio 57 sent you and get 20% off. So what are you waiting for? Call them now.
Hey everybody, Smokey here to tell you about Allstate Tire. With winter fast approaching, the most important thing between you and the road is your tires. So don't put your safety in just anybody's hands. Go to Allstate Tire. With new and quality used tires available, you can trust Allstate Tire for all your tire needs. You can visit them at 14208 9 Mile Road in Warren, or give them a call at 586-779-8759. Allstate Tire, your source for quality new and used tires.
What's happening, everybody? Scrappy here to tell you about Love and Life Club. Love and Life Club is a social networking club that's located at 19960 James Cousins. That's the Lodge Service Drive between 7 and 8 Mile Road in the D. You need to stop in for $5 Fridays for great music, food, and drinks. I personally recommend the chicken. Love and Life Club is also available for rental for bachelor parties, wedding receptions, or any party for that matter. For more information, log on to www.loveandlifeclub.com. That's loveandlifeclub.com, or call D at 313-999-2824. That's 313-999-2824. That's Love and Life Club. If you're loving life, you need to be in the club.
We are taking over this broadcast for the Ultimate Underground.
Studio 57 Radio Original. You know, when you hear that sound, you're gonna have a good time, because that's the sound of the Ultimate Underground live concert webcast from the Detroit area. We go to the most famous, or should I say infamous, venues in the D, and bring the underground music scene from the streets to your computer like nobody else can. There's only one catch. You never know when and where the Ultimate Underground is going to take over a broadcast. So you need to stay tuned to Studio 57 Radio all day, every day for clues on when and where the next Ultimate Underground may happen. Now, there's no other station on the net that's going to give you this live webcast of some of the hottest artists in the D. That's the Ultimate Underground live on your home for hip-hop, rock and metal, Studio 57 Radio, baby.
Goodbye.
You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. Studio 57 is a 32-track digital recording studio that utilizes Cool Edit. AKG, Sennheiser, Yamaha, Korg, Mackie, Boss, Ibanez, Fender, Fruity Loops, and many, many more to make your music pop. Experienced and friendly engineers make Studio 57 feel like you're home away from home. With beat creation, mixing, mastering, digital media conversion, and DJs for any event, Studio 57 Records is your one-stop shop for all your music entertainment needs. We have online bill pay and flexible payment schedules. That makes Studio 57 the place to be. For more information, visit Studio57records.com. That's www.studio57records.com, or call us at 586-420-3390. That's 586-420-3390, or log on to Studio57records.com. And just remember one thing, baby. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Welcome back, Rebels! We're at it again, and so is Midgie the Cat, as we get into hour 2 of this debacle known as Detroit Sports Radio Rebels. We are doing a little watch it with us. We've got the Eastern Conference Finals on. We got some NHL hockey playoff action going down in the house. So feel free to put them games on, whichever one you want, or both, as we are. You that some bitch, and turn us up, and I mean crank it. Oh wait, that's just kids in the room, because we say things we probably shouldn't say and do things we probably shouldn't do, and that's maybe why you come to DSR2. So without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Scotty, and here's your host, Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we're back for the second hour of DSR2 in case you missed it. We were kind of all over the ADD radio, but we talked a lot about basketball on there as well. So you get that in, as we said, Milwaukee's going to fight.
The Pistons won the lottery. The Pistons won the lottery.
Yep, we won the lottery, damn it. About goddamn time.
Yeah, first time in my entire life, so what boy please.
Exactly, about goddamn time. We can thank Ben Wallace for intimidating the hell out of Adam Silver.
I just feel like, he mafia this into a pick or something.
Fine, I don't care. And then he FaceTimed Rip Hamilton afterwards. We got the number 1 pick, baby!
Hail to the yeah.
And you know what was great about the whole thing? Jalen
Yes.
was hosting the ESPN
Pre-draft
lottery
lottery party.
Oh man, and he wouldn't shut up about the Pistons. It was
You were getting
great.
number 1, baby.
It was
He
great.
knew.
It was so epic. I was like, oh my god. And I wish I would have turned it on. I wish I could have seen his face. I need to put Jalen and Jacoby on just to see his reaction to all that. Yeah, good stuff. Oh, and while I got y'all here, BetQL can go F itself. It's completely shit on our sports networks here. There isn't a sports radio station to be had in this city anymore. Did you see what they did to 1270?
No.
Oh, it is hot effing garbage. Every show is either Jim Rome or a bunch of geeks talking about betting. It's the Degenerate Gambling Network.
Yeah, well, again, you play online betting net.
DGN! Welcome to WDGN, the Degenerate Gambling Network.
Well,
That's
you play-
all it is, dude. And they don't know shit about shit.
Yeah.
All they do is crunch stupid-ass numbers of the odds of this, that, and the other thing, put a bunch of shit out, sell their services, and then crap the bed on their fucking picks anyway.
Right.
You know what? And they've taken over. So then the only affiliate, the only anybody, they kept Jim Rome, which I guess whatever. But then they kept a stupid, huge fucking jack fucking wagon, excuse my French, and then they bring in all these BetQL dickheads. And then, and we already lost. Okay, look, 1130, the oldest running sports network in the state gets shut down for the Black News Network, whatever, News Information Network. Okay, whatever, I ain't mad at you. ESPN had come in here and give us some actually decent radio, and they got shut down, and it's old school hip hop. Well, okay. Well, I'm not gonna get mad. I like old school hip hop. I mean, I'm a rapper. I'm from the era. I dig it. Okay, but now you basically have one voice because the only two stations left are owned by the same company, and then they sold out to the WDGN.
Yes.
And that's it. That's what they're now known for now. I don't care what station. If you're the two effing sports talk stations in here. So Detroiters who are not listening to us, you should all shoot yourself in the face because there's nothing else to listen to here.
Right.
There's no other nothing. There's crappy takes and dickhead attitudes, crappy shows, and degenerate gamblers.
Right.
That's it. Two stations gone, two left, and that's all you get.
Right.
And you know what? What's North Dakota known for? Fucking nothing. I'll just answer it for you. Nothing. They're not known for anything. It's fucking North Dakota. People still think it's in the fucking north. That's how much we know and care about North Dakota. And they got the best goddamn sports lineup in the thing. They got the DA show, they got Dan Patrick, they got Jim Rome, and they got Tiki and Tyranny.
Right.
Why the fuck do they have all that great shit? Who's listening to it? The Corn? But we here in Detroit, we don't get jack shit.
I know.
We're like one of the best sports cities in the country. Top 5.
You got us.
And what do we get? We get nothing.
I know.
We get shit on here.
Or you got that one, was it Woodward Sports, but it's like a YouTube channel. Dude, can't even get your own damn station or at least a website?
No, they can't because you have to buy in to get on any of these networks now. Like BetQL is not. They didn't do anything but buy their slots.
I know.
It's paid programming.
Of course it is.
That's all it is. It's paid programming.
Okay, yeah.
It's bullshit.
It is.
God, I don't even know what to say. And I like, you know what? And I like Karsh and Anderson. I think they're talented guys, whatever. But, you know, there's only so much that carries a station. Like, there's only so much of that shit. Their morning show's garbage. Their evening drive is, and you know,
it's hot take radio,
dude. You know what's so funny? Is it's not only hot take radio, it's kind of like I'll say one thing and then the wind will change and then I'll make an argument totally the other way in a week from now. And then I'll get a hard on over something personal that nobody else is talking about, and then I'll put a twist on it that isn't real.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, it's like, okay, that's cool, but, like, what are we... Are we the Fox News affiliate of Sports Talk now? Like, where you, or even some of these other crazy news network where it's all news except for you have like a handful of idiots that like put their own fucking weird twist on it and make it something it isn't? Is that what we're doing with Sports Talk? Right? I just get so frustrated with the Detroit sports talk market or radio like that because of how rich of a sports town this really is when it comes to the fans and the people. And to be honest, there's a reason why the one of the stations that's still around was the highest rated. They had all the highest rated rates for a lot of years.
Yes.
They dominated the airwaves no matter what genre you were listening to. If it was music or talk or whatever, it didn't matter. They dominated, and it was sports talk exclusive. And they thought that could never happen here, and it was uber successful, and then they just shit the bed, and now
because
we
they
got nothing.
didn't go to FM.
Well, they had an FM. ESPN had an FM dial.
Yeah, well, on there, but the old days of WDFN and that down there, when the ticket went to FM, they never followed suit on it. They could have followed suit to an FM station and dominated. They had the better personnel.
Yep. Well, Kowalski and Belizean and all that, when that all fell apart, it felt like kind of the beginings of the end, right?
It was a slow, painful death.
Yes, it was like a slow burn after that.
Because, when they first came out, again, 20, almost, now we're looking at, 27 years ago on there. It was on there. I mean,
but the market does that.
It does on there. You can't on there.
Our market will kill you. What it is you'll do too good for too long, and then they'll just be like, well, we need to do better. Well, when you're the highest and you're the best, you can't do better than the best. I mean, you're the better. It's like the Drew and Mike thing. When they were here in the morning, they dominated. They were better. They were better than the best, and their competitor over on the Canadian station across the river there, that other people liked, just could never beat them and get over the hump. And that's who they replaced them with.
Right, because they got the station got cheap.
You're right. It's just stupid.
But you look at the glory days. I mean. Again, the glory days of WRIF, man, they dominated. Yeah. They were the first album-oriented rock station in the country.
Right. Well, I blame Doug Podell for that.
Yeah, because he ran every station.
Yeah, he's a program manager for all the stations, and they don't want to pay royalties.
Right.
So they play the same 6 fucking songs from 1987 over and over and over again on all 4 of their fucking stations. It makes you want to shoot yourself in the face because you hear one song and you flip to another station and you think you didn't change the channel. It'll be the same song in the same spot. It's like, dude, do you even have like different feeds? Like, have a different feed at least. God damn.
Well, now, went over on 94.7, CSX. I mean, dude, when you hear Nirvana and Pearl Jam as oldies, I'm thinking, what the fuck Am I old?
Yeah.
Dude. And of course, across the river in Canada, what do? They got rid of that and went to a different format altogether. Got rid of the alternative. I mean, that was you listen to if you want to listen stuff that you don't hear in the States.
Right.
I mean, you had glory days too with WW4 back in the late 70s, early 80s. That Sunday night, man, you would hear some great hardcore punk music and everything. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, all right. And then they went to freaking country. What the? Again, how many young country stations do we freaking really need?
Well, that's all we have here right now is country stations.
Right.
It's stupid. It's like, wait a minute. We have the most diverse population in the state than almost any state in the country, but definitely in the Midwest. Right? Like, we've got so many different ethnic backgrounds and so many different we've got Mexican town, and we've got all our we've got the biggest Middle Eastern population here. You've got it's just everybody here.
Polish heritage, ethnic, Italian
dude,
heritage. Corktown was all the Irish heritage.
Right. So like we've got we're like a melting pot in this mix, and we don't have any, and we have so much variety in people, but no variety in your radio, like none. Yeah. You've got. I'm just glad. The only thing that I am happy about, if we were going to lose a sports network, at least we got the old school hip hop thing, because other than that, it's country and classic rock.
Right.
That's all you got here. And it's like, dude, guess what? There's more than rednecks in this town.
Right.
Like, I don't want to sound like an asshole because I like classic rock and I like heavy metal, which they don't play anymore, and I like all that stuff, but I'm really not a country fan. So out of all the music that I listen to, because I'll listen to I'll listen to symphony stuff and cinematic type stuff. Like, that's the kind of stuff I like to produce, and it's just, it's whatever.
I'm like you. I'm a very eclectic, diverse person on here, and I can go old school hip hop. I can go, again, as you said, classical music. I can go old school blues. I can do basically hard rock, alternative, punk music. I mean, I'm 56 years old now. Yeah. I loved punk. I was one of those in the day that...
Shit, I was in a punk band, so we're all about it.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like, I hated hair metal. Yes. I hated hair metal with a passion. The
only hair metal that I liked was Skid Row, the first album. That was the only one. And I listened to it, and I kind of laugh at it now, and I go, yeah, that was my hair band. I didn't like a lot of hair bands, but I liked the first Skid Row.
Okay.
You couldn't mess with 18 in Life and Youth Gone Wild when you're 13 years old. Like, when you're 13, those two songs are like, okay, I get it. And so yes, I have to admit that would be the one hair band that I like. But see, now I get, like, I didn't like them at the time, and like I said, Skid Row would probably be the exception. A couple of songs that they had, and but now I kind of find it entertaining just in like retrospect, right? So like I like 80s music now, where I wasn't a fan of it before. And I get a kick out of it. Like, I'll jam some 80s music in here. And it won't necessarily be hair bands, but I'll go check the hair bands out because they're all trying to come back and shit. I'll go watch Great White at the fairgrounds or some shit. That shit is great. What is not great about chicks showing their titties to once bitten, twice shy? I don't care if they flat past their belt or not. It's fun stuff, man. You can't beat it. I took a girl. Okay, so a little inside story here. We're totally not talking sports. But
we're
that's
totally
okay.
ADD radio today.
It doesn't matter. You guys come for the entertainment. It's all fun. We can talk anything you want, and these guys are getting a kick out of it anyway too. So let's keep rolling. In another world, another life, my girl at the time worked for a food vendor, and so she did all these outdoor events, and they had really good food. So I loved it when not far from here, we've got an amphitheater. We've got Freedom Hill, and it's an outdoor amphitheater,
right? And
it's a super cool venue. It's not real big, but it doesn't need to be.
It's the perfect size in there because you get the ticket. I mean, these bands under everybody can afford to go to Freedom Hill.
Oh yes, and
sitting on the lawn, you didn't care because you're not that far from the on there.
Yeah,
and again, you're looking at $10 to $15 for a ticket,
right? So and so we're there, and they have a free event. You can get in and just go hang out, and it's free, and they got free concerts, and there's food vendors and the whole 9 yards. I think it was the Stars and Stripes Festival. And so my girlfriend at the time is, we're in our 40s, and she works with this girl who's like 17, 18 years old, and she's this huge Poison fan. We're like, Poison? Like, what do you know about Poison? I mean, like their career was dust long before you were born.
Right.
Like they're, and so Bret Michaels is here performing, and he's going to be doing a good portion of the Poison songs, of course, in his set. And my girl looks at me and goes, would you take her over there? She's been working her ass off all day. She hasn't taken a break. I'm going to let her take her break. Take her over there to see Bret Michaels do the Poison stuff. And I took her over there, and it was a very mixed group of young and old. She probably being the youngest, not that she was the youngest one there, but that her age would probably be the youngest group of people I saw there. And she knew every effing word to every song, and she was full on in it. Like I just jumped in the hot time machine and went back to 1986. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I just sat back and smiled. I felt like a kid again, but if I started hanging out with her, I look like a pervert, right? Like, right. So I'm like just trying to like sit around like I'm dad. Like, yeah, this is fun. This is cool. I'm just gonna be dad. But like I was having a blast watching her just have a riot with this. But so it's amazing how many people get into that older stuff and the things you wouldn't, expect.
I've got twin girls, 16. Of course, one is just all about booty call rap. And
rap
right. On her, and I got the other one that kind of like very eclectic, and she'll listen to her, stuff that she likes, her teeny pop. Then all of a sudden she's like playing old school Sweet, and I'm like, serious? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, all right. And of course, she's a huge Queen fan. Even before Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie came out, she was always she loved Queen. So I was like, all right, cool. So she's kind of, but you know what? Again, I love the fact that she's fearless.
Right.
She's comfortable in her own skin, and if you don't like it, you can kiss her ass. And she don't care.
That's what I love about my daughter too, and I try to install that in all my kids. My oldest daughter is the embodiment of that. My youngest of the two girls she's getting better about it, but she's still very much worried about her appearance and things like that. She's very, feminine girly. I know we kind of don't talk like in those terms anymore, but she's like a feminine girly kind of type, and that's what she likes to do. And so she does worry about herself a little bit more. My bonus son, now he's kind of the same way too. He's learned from my oldest daughter as much as us, but we've always fostered that, you be who you are, be comfortable with who you are. And it's super amazing how many people get into this kind of stuff. And even Kevin gets in on the text line and says, have you seen the YouTube videos where kids will watch music videos from the 80s?
First time?
Yeah.
And there's these, I know I've seen them on there, but I've seen like the two black kids and they listen to like Zeppelin for the first time. Yeah. They're like going, holy shit.
Yeah, they're like, this is amazing.
Yeah, what the hell, man? Yeah, it's on there. And all of a sudden, we're going to introduce you to Black Sabbath. What?
Yeah, I like that too. Like I said, that's what I got a kick out of this. And it's not like she was discovering it for the first time, but when you see someone appreciate something that from before that people, I don't know, that's nostalgic to you.
Yeah.
It gives you the feels all in your tum-tum. That's all. So
always.
Yeah, so a little bit of a sidetrack there, but we're talking sports too, and it's the second period
for Tampa.
Yep, second period to power play for Tampa. They're already up 1-0 in the Watch It With Us NHL. In the NBA, we've got a 2-point game with Atlanta trailing Milwaukee with 2 minutes, just over 2.5, or just 2.5 to go. So, and the pink shoes, is it breast cancer awareness? It's not this month, is it?
No.
Oh, okay. They're just rocking the pink shoes to rock the pink shoes. Anyway.
So we got the Olympic on here. The men's Olympic team came out. The only two returning from the 16 team are on this version of the Dream Team. That's Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. We got pledges from Zach LaVine, Jeremy Grant, and Harden had to pull out. So we got those on there. And then also we got on there is Dame Lillard, Bradley Beal, Bam I can't pronounce his name, Adebayo, Jason Tatum, and Kevin Love.
They're not, though, right? They opted out?
No, those are all playing.
Oh, really?
So we got Dame and Beal and
I heard
Tatum.
I heard Dame Lillard might not play.
According to this one, this was 4:00 today.
Oh,
saying Dame is
cool.
playing. So
Good. Yeah, that was earlier today that I heard.
And
that
then
he
also
may
we
not play.
got Chris. Looks like there's 3 players on the roster. Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Devin Booker are still saying they will play, even though they're still playing in the NBA right now. So
Oh, I'm surprised by a lot of that because the rest factor. I know Chris Paul backed out for the very same thing.
Right. And same that Harden, he's got the hammy, so he pulled out. And but yeah, most of them are all the young guys. So again, we'll see what on there. But yeah, with it, women's wise, is the biggest one is reigning MVP of the WNBA got up Nanika.
I'm horrible with names too,
Nanika
man. Yeah.
on there. Maki got basically saying that she didn't get the pick for the Dream Team.
So she's like the best player they have to
She was the
offer,
reigning
really.
MVP on
Yeah.
it, but then we got like 100-year-old Sue Bird and Deanna Taurasi are for their 5th Olympics. So.
Is this a Isaiah Thomas thing? Is she getting blocked out?
I don't know. I mean,
Is it one of those
I
things?
think so. I think she got probably you got Bird and Taurasi on there. It's like, yeah, they're legends on there, but dude, you're 100 years old.
I know.
Time to let again. You need
I'm
to
with
let
ya.
somebody else in there with it on it. So
I'm with you.
I'm on that. So we'll look on there. And of course, the women's got the 3-on-3. Men didn't even make the 3-on-3. They got beat out. So they
Wow.
men's on there with it. Of course, It's a be. We got what a month away from the Olympics. I think
Yeah.
a month today.
Well, the Olympics is
30
going to be a little goofy, man, because with the coronavirus and kind of the way they handle things over there in Japan, and you know how the Olympic Committee is, dude, and you remember the debacle it's been in the years past with these guys swimming in these rivers and all this kind of stuff, dude. Like, I would be super leery, and I get it. You train your whole life for these situations. Maybe you know, whatever, but I in as much as I want to do all that and represent my country, dude, I'm not going nowhere near Tokyo.
No.
I just with everything
one
with
thing
everything
is
going
Tokyo,
on.
At least Japan is a major country. It's not like a third world country like
No.
Brazil held it. you
No,
know.
but I just think right now in the state that this is, everything's in, and it's not like Japan's got things going 100% the way they want it either.
No.
You know what I mean?
And good luck keeping the 6 feet away because you know what's going to happen after these kids play. The athletes have their events.
Oh, they're all going to be banging each other.
They're gonna get the freak on big time. They're gonna run out of condoms again. Like
Yes.
I mean, I remember in the Australia in the 2000 Olympics in Australia, they basically gave them 100,000 condoms and ran out.
That's a lot of banging.
Well, again, they're all physically fit, ungodly physically fit. Most of them in their early 20s, and they're
Right.
all relatively good looking. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
basically you're working your ass off on there. Great, I got my medal on there. Cool. And all of a sudden it's like, get down, man.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the only reason to go to the Olympics at
Yes.
this point.
Damn, get your freak on, man.
Get your freak on. Where's a little Missy
Especially with
Elliott
some
in
of
the
the, especially you
background?
get the some of them beach volleyball girls. Damn.
Dude, that's all I'd be doing. I'd be following the volleyball girls around. I'd like training my ass. I'm following that one.
Chicka chicka bow wow.
Yes.
Uh,
I can't put a singlet on with this boner anyway. Oh, did I say that out loud?
yeah. Women's weightlifting. Nah, I'm gonna pass on
Yeah,
that one. And of course, so we'll get into the Olympics and again. I think we're gonna take a break here. In a couple weeks, anyways. I don't even know if we're gonna get a full summer off because we got the Olympics damn near this
I
year.
know.
So,
Well, you
so
know,
we may just take a short summer.
Yeah,
in
take-
July. and
take a
come
little-
back.
yeah, take a month off or whatever and come back. Yeah, because there's just a lot to get into. It just seems like
Because the basketball and hockey are running late
Late,
this year because they
yep.
started late, and
Yep.
okay, well, let's stick around till that's under. I mean, I'll be getting mid-July. I'll be out for a week.
Yeah.
At least 2 weeks. With it, we got basically going with softball tournament down in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Nationals. So from July 9th through the 16th, I'm out of Dodge. So.
Yeah, well, and then I go on vacation after that. So it's one of those things where we will, Yeah, we usually do the Midsummer Spectacular, but I think what we'll end up doing is
Just come back a little early.
yeah, we'll just take a few weeks off or a month off or whatever. It'll and then that'll just be it. We won't do a Midsummer because there's no time taken off. I mean, what are you gonna do? That's like just taking a week off and coming back. No.
Yeah.
We'll take a little bit of time. You'll be going to Kentucky. I'll be going up north. We'll be doing other things. We'll take a few weeks off, and instead of having the normal summer hiatus that you guys would get with like a random show in the middle of the summer that kind of just summed up what little bit was going on, we'll just kind of take a little break and come back to it, and then the schedule will get back to normal. But it just kind of worked out like you said that way with the way this thing is, and yeah, it's cool. It's all good. There's been some really cool news and stuff going on. You know what I can't wait for, though, Moose? I can't wait until the story about your boy from Vegas isn't a story.
No. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And he even said that. Which is
what's his last name? Nassib?
Nassib.
The way he, I don't know. It isn't news, and he didn't make it news. He kind of was very cool with the way he handled his business there, and he didn't have to, but he felt comfortable in his own skin and thought that he should do that just so that it's not like looming and hanging out there. And this is the whole thing. The fact that I even say looming and hanging out there, and that fact that he feels the need to have to kind of say this stuff now and quote unquote feel comfortable in his own skin and all that stuff, the fact that that's even a statement, the fact that that's even a thing, kind of makes me a little nauseous, because it shouldn't be a thing. Like,
right.
Whatever he is, and what do you care? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not in pursuit of a relationship with this guy beyond whatever what does it matter to you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's the same thing, right? So it doesn't matter whether I'm in music or I'm working wrestling or I'm working MMA. There's, people of all sexual orientations in every part of business. It doesn't matter if I'm in my corporate life, if we're doing any of this. It doesn't matter. And my personal life, it's in all walks of life. So, like, it's never been an issue. Like, I've never asked anybody. Have you ever or ever been concerned? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know why it's a concern. So, or why anybody would even, it doesn't matter, right? So, and that's what I kind of like about the people I surround myself with now. It's not a concern. People talk, and it's no big deal. And when it becomes like that everywhere, then I think we're getting somewhere. So that's the only thing that was disappointing about all of this, is that this was news. But the silver lining, of course, is that, things come out like he's the first guy
to active player to come out openly as gay.
That is insane to me.
Right, especially 2021.
That's what I'm saying. What I was going to say, what when did I? It's crazy in this day and age that this is the first, and that it, like I said, that he had to.
And he even says this. I hope one day that nobody has to come out there and state.
Yeah. Why would you have to?
It's not a deal.
Right.
Again, he honored, and I applaud him for that. I mean, coming out there and being brave enough to do. Again, he's the first one.
Yep.
Trust me, he's not the only gay NFL player out there.
No,
no way in hell.
No.
I mean, trust me, it's out there.
It's across the board in NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, MMA, pro wrestling. It doesn't matter. Every walk of life, the IKEA, Home Depot. It doesn't matter.
No,
it doesn't matter. It's everywhere. And so, like, it is what it is. Like, I don't understand why it matters. So that is the one thing that was slightly. But the other silver lining was too that his jerseys sales went through the roof.
Good.
He's number one in the league, and
I think again we're at a state in this country where it's not a.
Well, I was like, when he came out. I was like, okay, what's the big deal? And why is this news? And then I started thinking about it, and then they're talking about it on the radio or on the news or in the internet, and they're saying, well, this is the first time anybody that's active NFL player playing on a roster that's come out. And I'm thinking, well,
That could be right.
That's not a good
And
thing.
it's true.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like, but I'm glad that it's brought awareness. So then I
Yeah.
had to see the video. So
Yeah.
I went on Twitter, and when I saw it, I'm like, I'm gonna buy. I want to buy his jersey now.
Right.
And I wasn't the only one, obviously,
No,
because they're
obviously, I
flying
know,
off
I
the
know,
shelf.
but yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you can't help but want to support a guy like that.
my
in this
fiance
situation.
Kelly said the same thing. She goes, "Why is this news?" I said, "Because he's the first one."
How sad is that?
And she goes, "No, he's not." I said, "Yeah, he is. He's the first active player to come out openly as gay."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, well then I guess really it is big."
Oh
news."
yeah, it's like a
I said,
monumental.
exactly it.
But
No,
it's
I
so
said,
it's so weird that
hopefully
it
one
is.
day we get to that point where nobody cares. It's
Yeah.
not again. It basically great, well, whatever, move on and go
Yeah.
on it. It doesn't matter. But the fact is, I do on it. And again, you get these trolls out there like, oh, well, whatever. Go back in your pile, under your rock. There. I don't
Yeah,
care
exactly, dude. Just get out of here.
It's not a
if
big-
you haven't evolved enough to, okay, I don't care whatever kind of religious stuff you were raised with or whatever excuse you're going to use for having that. If it really bothers you that much, just shut your mouth and walk away. I mean, if it really bothers you that much, just shut your mouth and walk away. Just do that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Now, whatever. If I see somebody, walking around or driving some car I can't stand, I'm not looking at the car. I don't care. They drive a car that sucks.
Speaking of cars,
So what's it matter? I just don't get it. And to me, this body's a vehicle. So get out of here. What's it even matter?
Speaking of cars, defensive end Frank Clark got arrested in L.A. from the Kansas City Chief defensive end for driving his Lambo SUV with an Uzi.
I have taught you well, my friend. That is one hell of a segue, and it's a sports topic. I like it. You're the fucking man, right there. That's good shit.
I gotta bring
You're
it
fucking
in there.
professional over here.
That is why I'm the myth, the legend.
Yes.
But yeah, got popped in L.A. with not just a semi-automatic Uzi, it was full auto.
You know what? If you have to have said Uzi, you should do it. I give you a couple bits of advice because to defend yourself, you don't need a Uzi. I mean, an Uzi is effective. Don't get me wrong, but you don't need an Uzi. And like, if you gotta have the Uzi, I'm gonna give you two bits of advice. One, make sure your car's squared away, like all your plates and tabs and license, and
don't be racing down the street at 100 miles an hour.
and don't be driving like a jerkwad. And then maybe make sure it's all the way zipped up in the bag. Like, make sure it's not sticking out where people can actually see the barrel of the thing.
It was openly basically.
Let's have a little bit of common sense here. I'm just saying.
First of all, do you really need to carry an Uzi with you?
No. I promise you, a 380 will defend your person as much as anything.
I mean, he's a big guy on there, so he can carry a 45 or something like that. But again, it's still a pistol. An Uzi? Really? An Uzi? This is not the first time he's had a run-in with law. He had it when he was at the University of Michigan on a domestic violence incident.
No, so he needs the guns, right?
Yep,
Jeez.
he needs the guns.
He needs Uzis. He just
That's
beats
why
people up.
That's why he was drafted late in the first round by Seattle. Otherwise, he was going to be a second or third rounder at best.
All right.
But you get first-round talent, fourth-round head.
Yeah. Yep. That's unfortunate.
But an Uzi.
What do these guys think, man? I know that you get an inflated sense of self, and you have this ego that's so big,
2-1,
and you think you're untouchable. At least the Islanders got on the board here. But how can you be that stupid? I don't know. I can't say anything. I've been that dumb. So, but come on, man. At least when they found my weapons, they were they had to look for them. When I got my felony, they had to earn it.
Yeah.
You dummies. Did I just say that out loud?
Yep.
Okay.
And also on the tally sheet down there is domestic violence charges were dropped against Darius Geist after he reached a settlement with his ex-girlfriend. So.
Oh, Hey, here.
That's nice.
Here.
His career is still
Here.
in the toilet.
Here, take this briefcase of money and shut your mouth. Okay. Have a nice day. Now I'll go back and be a piece of trash somewhere else.
Yes.
A broke piece of trash.
Antonio Brown's probation.
Speaking of piece of trash, with the segues, you're so good. No, go ahead.
Probation and a truck driver battery case was terminated a year early, his probation, so he can now join the Tampa Bay.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. Little Tom Brady sprinkled a little TB12 on there.
Yeah, make it go away.
Yeah, you got to sprinkle some TB12 dust on that. That's all he did. He's like that one guy where he slings it off his elbow, like, little TB12 on you. With his little dinosaur arm where he like flings the salt on the meat or whatever the hell he does. You seen him on the YouTube? No? Yes?
Yeah.
Is this thing on?
And wait till we get closer to the NFL season, because again, being at 17 games, records may fall.
Oh, records will fall. You know, if
That's what we really
if you're a
need
QB and you don't get 5,000 yards a year, you suck.
If you don't get 50-plus touchdowns, you suck.
I mean, that's what's going to happen here. I mean, what are you talking about? You can't touch the guy. He's got 84 games a year now. It's like, what the hell, dude? These numbers, none of these stats will matter anymore.
Yes.
Any of the stats when they were playing 12 and 14 games or whatever, none of that shit matters anymore. Not when you're playing 17 games. And we talked about it. This is another one. Like, look.
If you don't have 2,000 yard receiving yards, if you playing for Tyreek Hill or Honor, then you ain't shit.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing. Like, we don't get a lot of things right, but we told you they were going to expand this goddamn season. And if you think they're done at 17,
You're delusional.
Because this number's stupid.
Right. It makes no sense. You need that 18.
Yeah. This number's
it's just a tease.
Yeah. It's just to get you and them accommodated. You know, you want to do something, sometimes you got to get there in baby steps. You can't just like balls out jump there in one swoop. And that's kind of what happens when you're dealing with the NFLPA and owners and players and just trying to get things.
They'll give them 18 games,
but
and they'll give them that second bye week, and we're going to start probably.
Sure, they'll expand the roster.
And the Super Bowl will be the third week in February.
They already gave them the weed.
Yep.
So, and we told you that was going to happen. We told you they were going to extend the season, and they were going to give them weed to do it.
Yes.
That's basically what happened. But we just thought that 17 didn't make any sense, so it had to be 18. We had that debate. And they went with 17 anyway, which is like still
right. It's just a
still,
tease.
it's just,
Because next year they'll be 18.
Yeah, there's got to be in the next couple of years. There's got to be 18. It's the same thing with the expansion of the NCAA playoffs for the national championship. I know technically they can't do it till 2025 or something, and you can kiss my ass. It's happening before that.
Right. Well, the good news is Tim Tebow was invited to Tight End University,
and he declined. No,
he was not invited.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Kittle
what it was.
and
well, he was offered.
Kelsey said, "No, we're not inviting him. We don't need this shit."
Well, they tried to get him to be a tight end before, and he didn't want to.
Now he wants because oh my god, I need to have my name relevant still.
Dude, I don't know what it is with him. I don't know if he's missing something because he doesn't have that locker room camaraderie, or he doesn't know what to do with himself outside of sports, or whatever. I think he likes some of the things that he does. You know, obviously a very religious guy, and he's going to do all that stuff, and people ride him for that. I don't really care about that unless he's like pushing it on other folks. That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, he might be that.
But he might be that guy. I don't know. But you know, I don't know. It doesn't matter any of that to me because we talked about it here. It's all about, you know, entertain me.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll cap on guys for being scumbags, but we'll at the same time talk about their talent. We've talked about the scale of, you know, talent and bullshit and whatever. And so I just think it's just so much douchebaggery, but I don't really care about any of the little things outside. He's not good.
No.
It doesn't matter. He's not athletic. He's not, you know what? He doesn't even come off as coordinated.
No.
And the fact that he was a good good college football player was like funny to me. And I'm like, dude, he was in a system and he was coddled and he didn't play nobody and he had great situations. And yeah, he did some stuff, but against what? And at what level? And was it really that good? No, you're just kind of biased because you like him, I think. And that's kind of what it came off as, like, oh, he's like this great guy, you know. Remember his early on, his narrative was like he just makes everything better when he's around, you know. And it's like, no, but that doesn't.
He's not as he's not as physically gifted, and he's definitely not as.
And he had a chance, and people gave him opportunities.
He doesn't have the charisma or the on there that Peyton Manning had. Peyton Manning's not the most gifted athlete out there, great mentally on there, but he's got a great sense of humor.
Well, and you know what?
He's got a good personality.
Yeah,
and Tebow doesn't have that. But he doesn't have anything going for him.
But that's not even it either, Moose, because like I just got done saying, the narrative on him was he was a great person to be around. People, dude, I heard a guy.
Is he really? Yeah.
I heard a guy, a major network guy, say that he's a better person having known Tim Tebow. These guys, dude, that was the narrative for him forever until he couldn't play no more, till they couldn't hide his horribleness in Denver anymore. Then that narrative kind of started to drift away a little bit, yes. And then you'd have a few people pop up and say, yeah, his over-the-top religious shit kind of was annoying. And that was, and his inflated sense of self ability was kind of like, eh. And so, but that didn't come out until later.
Right.
So it isn't about personnel. Like I said, that's why I think he got as much opportunity as he did, is because people liked him. He wouldn't have made it that far if he didn't. He's not
really
very
nice guy.
good.
He might be a really nice guy in there, but again, of course, I like more of the, he's boring.
Well, yeah, but there's all kinds of people that are boring that are talented that you enjoy watching. I mean, you know what I mean? That are boring, like in the, not giving you anything. I mean, Peyton Manning doesn't give you anything just because he does witty commercials. What the fuck's that even mean? Like I said, once again, okay, I guess it falls under entertain me, but it's not what I care about.
He had but even like his ESPN travel with Peyton on it, I find him humorous and everything with it. And again, he did have one of the better skits in the last 20 years on Saturday Night when they did the United Way now. And he goes, you know what? I'm telling you, man, if somebody snitch on me, I'm going to shank him. I'm not saying I would or didn't, but you know where I'm coming from. And he's screaming at the kid. Again, I think I do like his self-deprecating sense of humor.
Right.
And again, that's me too. I do make fun of myself more than I have to.
Yeah, well, I try to as much as well. And
he does try to make fun of me as much as he can too.
Yes, I do. That's how the show got started. No,
since we don't have Nate here and he has his penis hat.
His penis hat on. Oh my gosh. Oh, he was so angry over the penis hat.
Well, you shouldn't have worn the penis hat.
Yeah, you wore the penis hat.
If it was a damn dark blue knit cap, we wouldn't have made fun of you, but flesh colored? Come on. Yes.
It did have the condom roll end and the tip. It was silly as shit. It's like, dude, you look like you forgot how to roll the thing down.
It was the text line that basically blew that up. That was it started. We just encouraged it.
Yes. It did get out of hand. It was pretty funny. Yeah, because at that I was sitting at the producer table over there, and the screen was here, and you guys were just reading it off, and then it just.
He was getting.
He was getting mad. It was silly. He doesn't want to read those ones. No. This is like, I'll read them.
Oh, I did.
That was funny. I was reading some.
Of course, if they did that to me, I probably would have read mine too on there.
Well, I was reading them all and putting them up. I was going through them. I could have filtered them out, but hell with that. That was funny. Jeez Louise.
So we also got today is the 25th anniversary of Stone Cold 316.
Oh yeah.
SummerSlam on there, when he beat Jake the Snake.
Yeah, Jake the Snake was one of my favorites of my youth. And then Stone Cold would have been kind of my favorite from the Attitude Era when I was a little older. I wasn't really watching, but was. Like, I had my daughters were probably like first or second grade when the Attitude Era was going on. And probably first grade. And me and my girl would watch at the time because she was into the women's angles, with like Trish Stratus and Lita. So we watched a little bit during the Attitude Era. And so yeah, those are my two favorites probably, but of the eras there, of those particular eras, going at it. And SummerSlam's right around the corner, so that's why they're doing all that. And I think they're starting to go back on tour. I think in July here, so that'll be interesting to go to a wrestling show. I know they're starting to put people in the AEW crowds. You know, they have been for a little while, and other shows. We just started having fans in our show. We had our first show with fans this Saturday, and it feels great to have people in there. Super loud. So yeah, IWE had a great turnout, and the fans were like off the hook as per usual. So if you guys get a chance and you can, and you're in the northern central Michigan area, shoot on down to the Artesian Youth Center when we have these shows, and help support the youth center and check out some kick-ass pro wrestling. And if you can't, you can check out Imperial Wrestling Entertainment on Facebook, YouTube, High Spots Network, and Power Slam, all those crazy streaming services. And yeah, some good quality stuff and some fun, good action this week or this month at the show. And we break it down into episodes, and you have some good content there. So yeah, I love the pro wrestling angle. As you know, there's belts all over here, and I make championship belts, and that didn't come from nowhere. So came from being a kid watching wrestling. The mainstream stuff now is not as good as it used to be, and it's kind of silly and whatever, and I'm not too much on it, but I like listening to it, and I know a lot of people that work, so I try to watch and support as much as I can. And if you are a wrestling fan, it's like no other. Imagine, Moose, if you're a football fan, and there's so many great talents that they all can't even make the NFL. And then there's so many great talents that they can't all make the NFL or the USFL. And there's so many great talent that you can't even stick them all in the XFL, the USFL, and the then there's so many great talents you can't put them in the NFL, the USFL, the XFL, or the AAF, and you still have all this talent. That's where pro wrestling is. You've got Ring of Honor, you've got New Japan, you've got AEW, you've got Impact Wrestling, you've got WWE, and they've got multiple programs. And
got a little scrum here.
And they're breaking down. They want the championship, and they're fighting for it. Over here in the hockey game as we go to second intermission, 2-1 Tampa. But there is so much talent and so much wealth of pro wrestling just on television, let alone the indie scene. If you are a fan of pro wrestling, it would be like being a fan of football and having that much talent in those many leagues, and you just can't even get enough of it. And that's kind of the where it's at right now, and I can't compare it. There's no other sport that's been, though I think that the legion of fans are loyal and kind of watch all of it, and that's why it all thrives. And it's not like you have like huge amounts of people, but the ones that do watch it kind of watch all of it, and are super smart and into it. But I don't think you see that in any kind of other sport.
No.
Because even like nobody watches the minor leagues like that. Do you follow the G League in the NBA?
No.
Okay.
Well, again, especially here, we don't. Now we're finally getting a G League team.
Right.
So.
But I mean, so you don't even follow the developmental leagues, let alone.
Yeah, I don't follow the under. Yeah,
because if you think about pro wrestling, if WWE is the pinnacle, if WWE is MLB, then you got AAA, single A, double A, right? So it works its way down. So what's the highest where do you want to be? AAA?
No, I want to be up in the majors.
You're right.
Show.
Yeah, but how does it go? Which way does it go?
I
can't remember.
AAA is the next level,
right?
And then Double A. Double A is usually reserved for basically the younger guys under.
Yeah.
That are going to make it.
Right.
Usually, a lot of guys, they go from low single A to high single A.
Right.
And then if they make that bump to Double A, you'll see your top talent on here.
Right.
Once they start excelling at Double A and dominating it, they usually make that jump to Major League under.
Right.
There are a couple of those that'll say, okay, we'll come in on there to AAA and then go under. But if you're really, really good on there and you're in AA and you're dominating it, you just skip over AAA.
Right.
Because most of your guys in AAA, you have cats out there that are going to come up on there, but most of these guys are going to be basically that's where they hit. That's where they plateau. and they're going to be at AAA. And again, they can make a nice career on it, but it's not going to be
Right. Well, and that's exactly how pro wrestling is, right? So you have your top two leagues in pro wrestling, and they'd be they have the big TV contracts, and then you've got your AAA guys who will probably stay there at like the Impacts and Ring of Honors, where they have a TV deal and they can make good money, but they're not really going to be up there. And they can have a nice career, but they're not going to be at the pinnacle. And then you have like the indie scene, and that's usually reserved for all the young guys learning their way and doing whatever. And if you're really good there, you'll skip over Ring of Honor and MLW and Impact and go right to AEW or WWE. Right. And so it's almost exactly the same kind of concept right now with pro wrestling is that you have with Major League Baseball, only there's just that much more talent, because instead of it being teams, it's leagues. It's that kind of, so you really just have lots of, the problem is not the talent, the workers, the availability, the programming. The real problem is creative writing is not really, right. It's something different with that, where it's not a true, that's where it's different from another sport. It's an athletic endeavor, is what I like to call it. It sounds silly way to say sport, but it's an athletic endeavor. But because there's a story behind it, people kind of
right.
But we clamor for the story in real sports, or quote unquote real sports, right?
Sports, right.
But when you create the story, I think is where.
Yeah, and I think with the WW, like on there is you did have some really good writers on there to get great storylines on there. Problem is you had an ownership on there that basically meddled around too much into it and screwed it all up.
Well, that ultimately what happens. If you have one person who has the final say, that ultimately becomes a problem. A lot of these companies will do different things, and I don't want to get into a total shoot on stuff like that because, practices. But in a lot of cases, and I think WWE does it too, but just in the end, Vince is the final say. And I think a lot of hierarchy are set up like that in pro wrestling, whether you're on indies or not. You ultimately have, because AEW will be the same way. Tony Khan is going to have the final say on all creative in the end. But so I think it's kind of like that. But most of them will have like a board of cats. You know what I'm saying? That's right. The way they used to do it back in the day, where they'd have like a booking committee. You know what I mean? So not one guy's just kind of filtering all the content, and then that usually helps it out and gives that creative, thing kind of spread out, the brainstorming. And that's kind of where you have the stuff. It's just kind of like, I don't think anything new and creative is really coming out. And then when you start to get some momentum or something new and creative, then if you have one guy that can veto everything and put the kibosh on it because he doesn't like it, it becomes an issue. And so I think pro wrestling not having fans for all this time, they've struggled to put out, because when the fans pop, you just do shit whether you want to do it or not, because the fans pop.
Basically, you get a more organic feel to it.
Right.
Basically, you feed on the crowd in that.
And so I think that's a little bit different as well as quote unquote mainstream sports, and the fact that if you're winning and you're playing, or you grew up playing that game with nobody there and no sound and no nothing, and you're playing to win. There's an.
But I think get the whole thing into sports.
You're not trying to react off the thing
I think
so
too
much.
is you get the whole aspect of all of entertainment on it, whether it's sports and the wrestling, but you even go to other aspects of entertainment wise. Too many. Again, chefs in the kitchen screw up the
that does happen. You can go overboard.
It happens on all aspects,
sure.
Whether it's music or movies or television or no
sure.
wrestling. It's the same aspect.
Yep. All that stuff comes back to the same.
Especially on those aspects with it.
So anyway, we got a tie game with 5.5 to go
in the third.
We're still at the second intermission here in the hockey game 2-1 as we're getting close to wrapping it up. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us and getting in on the conversation. We had a good old time talking some crazy. Whoa, that was a crazy.
Had a hook.
Yeah, throw it up there. He almost got something going there. Trae Young is just. You know why his hair looks like that? Because he plays like his head's on fire. I mean, this guy's just running around. It's just the way he plays. I love it. And then Giannis.
I mean, we've been seeing that when he was at Oklahoma in college. I mean, we just saw him like, all right, this cat, when he gets down there, and now you're seeing what he can do.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just
good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, guys, another week is in the books. You know, we got some good stuff going down here, man. Make sure you hang out and watch the final quarter of this game. And make sure you come back next week as we do this thing again. If you haven't, get over to jdubbelts.com. If you haven't, get over to Studio57Radio.com. Check that out, as well as the Facebook, the YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, all that good stuff. Find us, like us, share us, download us, tell your friends about us, whatever. Leave comments, bitch, complain, I don't care. You can hit us up in the email if you want to, studio57radio@gmail.com. Of course, lock in our text line for every live show here at Studio 57 with 313-307-5340. And make sure you get your voice heard and get in on the conversation. Social media is another great place. We'd love to have you. Canada Mike, Beer Can Dan, all our regulars are here. They're with us almost all the time, and we love it. We want to have you join the party. So come on back next week, same bat time, same bat channel, and we'll get into it. I'm sure there'll be something crazy, Moose.
Always.
Man. Can't wait to talk NBA and NHL with y'all again. And maybe Major League Baseball pull their sphincter necklace off.
Yeah.
Until then, guys, be nice to each other. Be good. We
Peace
love
out.
you. Peace.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.